Greetings again. Back with another record unboxing. This time with a hoarse voice. Picked up a lovely virus at work, I think. So, yeah, look, I'm going to struggle through this one. But also, this one is a much bigger one than the little one I did a couple of days ago. This one is from a Dusty Groove. Yeah, my go-to. So I haven't done a Dusty Groove unboxing video for a while. I have actually received a few in that time, but I never, had the opportunity to really do the video. So it's nice to get back into this one, and especially a big one. I really don't know how long this is going to go. I've forgotten most of what's in here. Let's wing on in. Not cut. So obviously I will do that first for safety and come on back to y'all. So all cut safely, ready to rock and roll without delay, because I've got a feeling this one's going to take a while. Okay, so here we go. I forgot. Yep, I got some CDs, which I'll still delve into. Because again, got some good prices, I think. Oh, I remember I've been buying them good prices. And that's the good news. Most CDs at the moment, even from America, still very good prices. So taped up little bundle here, which I may have to pause this one to undo. So a bit of a cut job. Hopefully that's enough to be able to get into this mini package. Okay, here we go. Let's see. There's a little bit of a sneak peek there, but first up, got myself an Best of Otis Redding on CD. I've got a couple of these LPs now, but I thought at $1 US, this would be a good one to have, and then to rip to MP3 to be able to play elsewhere. And if you look, I mean, it's got, all the basic, all the tracks you'd probably want to get, really. So I thought for $1 plus a bit of post, low bit of post, that'd be good to have on standby, and to be more handy in a way, and a rip to get some of the essential songs. Onto my USB SD cards and stuff. All right, next one. Now this one could be really interesting because I don't believe this would be on LP. So it's a bit of a gamble, but again, it's only $1 gamble. And look, it's actually a new CD. The last one, the Otis one, was used, although it looks really nice. This one's actually new, and it was listed apparently originally at $25 US, and I got it for $1. So that is a John Trapea. Oh, there, John Trapea. Sorry, I will hold it. Something old, new, borrowed, and blues. And you can even see there, it's a Japanese issue there with the little sash / obi thing on the side, or what are we going to call it? But yeah, look at that. I mean, come on. I'm not going to try that for $1. John Trapea, that is a later album. I can't even remember what year, but it's probably 90s or late 90s or early 2000s. I don't even know. Oh, look, Will Lee's on production. That's nice to see. There you go. There's 1999. So yeah, it was it's late 90s, obviously. So it's not brand new, but it's not 70s John Trapea. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like. And Who else is on there? I wonder if Will Lee is playing bass on there, if he's on there as a producer. Hopefully so. 9 tracks. Yeah, brand new. Come on, bargain with the capital B. Alrighty, and another CD I got because look, to get this guy stuff in LP, yeah, you can get this on LP, but it's never cheap. Well, I never see it cheap. I want it on LP. I thought, look, this will do me for now for $3 US and a bit of post. The pressing, I'm not sure. It is a US CD pressing. But that's Bobby Hutcherson's Stick Up. Now, I believe that's what, 1966, maybe, 7. Oh, even later, sorry, it says 69. Well, let's get in the ballpark there anyway. But yeah, look, you know, if you're in the know, you know that to get Bobby Hutcherson on LP, even reissued, is never cheap, you know, unless you're pretty lucky. So that'll be good to time me over until I can get around and get the cash or find a good bargain for the LP version. All right, next up as well. Oh, by the way, that Bobby Hutcherson, yeah, that was a used CD, secondhand. So was this, but I get $2. I thought, well, I'll give this a crack for $2. Because it's probably one I wouldn't perhaps want to pull the trigger on LP unless I knew what it was. I thought for $2 on CD, yeah, I'll do that to go with the collection. And that's Duke Ellington and John Coltrane together. And if you look there on the side, there's also some other usual Coltrane suspects there. If it goes, come on, go. It doesn't want to, come on, go into focus. Well, anyway, maybe hold it. Elvin Jones, Jimmy Garrison. So I think this is late. I don't know if it's late 50s or early 60s. I've got a feeling it's more like late 50s, although it is on Impulse. So no, it'd be early 60s if it's legit. Let's see, is it going to 1962? Yeah, there we go. The Impulse gave it away. I thought McCoy Tyner might be on here, but then I thought, no, that's Duke Ellington's position. So Tyner's going to be on here. Is he? But Elvin Jones, always great value there. Jimmy Garrison's on a lot of stuff around the time. So, yeah, look, $2. Impulse, OG sort of Impulse recording. I'll buy that for $2. And lastly, in the CD realm, one I've put off for a while because I'm going to be honest, I've heard bits and I'm not as keen. I know that sounds really weird, then why buy it? Well, this is for the collection because I've been shy to buy this to spend the money on vinyl on this. And I got most of the other ones on CDs. So that's Miles Davis and Gil Evans at the Miles plus 19 miles ahead. LP on the Jazz Masterpiece Blue Border, quite well known. I think it's like late 80s pressing stuff, which were always, you know, from what I got, it was really good. Oh, there, that's even a bit, let's say 1993, so it continued on them. That series of reissues on CD. But the ones I've got are really nicely done anyway. So look, yeah, not as keen because it's more, I don't want to say big band in a way, but it's a bigger band, you know, but not necessarily like old school big band. But yeah, look, I'm not as much of a fan of that, but hey, $2 in the used, looks really great condition. Yeah, like that will, I'm sure, satisfy me enough. Alrighty, so that brings us to unboxing the records now. Let's hope this box is kind to me here. Got to put them up on. Alrighty, let's crack on in. Get rid of this stuff. Oh, yeah, clean it up later. There's shrapnel everywhere. Alrighty. Oh, yeah, shrapnel on here. I'll just wipe this LP a little bit cleaner on top. Here we go. This one adding to a very fast-growing collection for this artist that I'd put off for a long time, and the last 6 months have been really just trying to get this person's back catalogue 70s stuff. So I'm getting there. And that is Mr. Bobby Womack. And I know there's some glare on there, but the album is Understanding, as it says on there and on the sticker. A very good plus condition. There's a little bit of, wear down there. Hey, I'm not that bothered at all. Nice sort of shiny sort of cover happening for the 70s. I believe this is about, what did I say, 73, maybe 2. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I gonna have to put that in text over the top to correct myself again? We're going back here. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, we have to do the old school Roman numerals thing there. And yes, 72. Woohoo. I don't have to put it over the top. 10 points to me. That's kind of cool cover. I like the sort of the monochrome here, but all the shiny silvery stuff is actually quite cool. But yeah, so 72. I'm sure this is at a time when he was still very much Sly Stone influenced. After having a little bit of something to do with Sly's Right going on, LP, only 2 years before or whatever. And right around the time of across 110th Street soundtrack, it's getting around that time. That was either 72 or 73, I think. So yeah, should be decent. This stuff's good. I don't think it's brilliant all the time. The 110th Street, sorry. That's really good. I think it's probably his peak in a way, his best stuff. But yeah, bit of Bobby Womack for the collection. Next up, to move right along, this one, well, the cover's interesting. Excuse me. I do have 2 other LPs from this band. It's more like a studio sort of band. And there are other 2 LPs. I know I'm going to be stronger than this one. I think this is like about 1977 maybe. So we're probably getting a bit more clubbified here. But the price is right. The condition was right. You can judge if the cover is right. But look, the intention. I get the intention there. So let's not go all wokey, old blokey on me. Brother to brother shades in creation. So, excuse me, $5 near mint minus. So, it does have a little bit of a bullet hole through there, but that's about it. The rest looks really nice and solid and clean for $5. Here we go. We're getting some of the band, which again I'm pretty sure are more of just like a probably more of a studio band. I'm not sure if these guys ever played live, to be honest. Year-wise, let's have a look. By the way, it's on this label called Turbo Records. I think the other ones were as well, or at least one was. Yeah, there it is, 1977. Another point to me today. I wonder if I can keep this up. So, yeah, it'll be funky soul-y, but I think it's going to have a little bit more probably clubby disco influence. Look, we love to party. It's probably going to be there, dance and singing. It's probably going to be that sort of thing. I think I listened to a little bit of this, but I'm going in quite blind, and I'm not expecting as good as the other 2 albums of theirs I've got. particularly their first one. But anyway, yeah, it's cool to have in the collection. Alrighty, next up, look, this is from an act. I'll say act, well, sort of band, but sort of duo, sort of band. That I'll be honest, previously I'd hear and listen to it. I just couldn't get it. I couldn't get into. After some time now, yeah, I can get it more. You know, maybe my scope has opened up wider. I do have one of these guys when they did a solo album back in the late '60s. It's quite good, but it'd be very different to this sort of stuff. These guys have played on so many other people's stuff. This is getting to mid to later '70s. It is the Brecker Brothers. It is heavy metal bebop. I do love the cover. You know, that juxtaposition between the two brothers there and what they're wearing. The style. Yeah, very '70s too, especially when is it Randy? I think that's Randy. I might be wrong. He looks like he's, you know, going to go into the rollerball arena and play a bit of rollerball or something. So it's a super suit. Yeah. So heavy metal bebop. I think in 1977, somewhere around there. Do we have a year? Do we have a year? Maybe 78, 77. Okay, 78. Just saved myself. Okay. So a little bit later, yeah, look, it's going to slick up a bit because it's 78. It's on R-Star at 78. So, you know, it's going to be like fusion-y. I've heard some of it. It's really cool. So I did preview this. Yeah, a little bit up and down, but, you know, I think it's the sort of thing if you can get in the mindset that you're going to listen to some 1978 sort of jazz fusion-y, soul-y stuff, like, you'll be right. Because obviously they're awesome players. But they've got some other players on here they don't normally have. Normally they have like Harvey Mason and I think on, but this time no, they don't. Yeah, they usually have. I think they've had like Dave Sanborn on the previous two as well. So a bit of a different band, but yeah, no, look, I have listened and there's some good stuff on here, and yeah, shame on me. Well, I don't know. I just maybe wasn't ready for it back in the day when I heard it, or wasn't expecting this kind of music from these guys. But now I've got a better understanding, especially my post 75 rule. You know, I can dig that, and you know, $7 for very good plus condition isn't really breaking the bank for that plus some post. Okay, now from the Brecker Brothers to something a little bit older. I think we're hitting the late 60s for this one, I think. Later, mid to late 60s. And what we've got here, a bit of Blue Note. And we've got, I think, my first Duke Pearson on vinyl. Now, I did buy some of his stuff on a 4 for CD4 album stuff to sort of get me primed up. Because, as you know, a lot of Blue Note stuff is not, you know, inexpensive or anything. It's usually quite pricey. But I thought I'd give this a crack because it was near mint minus $20. So basically new. And yeah, look, it's a reissue, obviously. But I don't know when this reissue is from, though. It might be 80. Oh, no, there we go, 1994. I knew it was an older reissue. You can tell from the font and at the top, but it's still got a barcode. But the other thing is the lineup is very nice. Here we go. And Duke Pearson at the time had a lot of influence in Blue Note, and look who he's, got here in his lineup, we've got Freddie Hubbard. So, you know, even that there sells it for me. Garnet Brown trombone, James Spalding alto. I don't know who Jerry Dogian is. Tarantine, Yay Hey. Pearson there on piano. Gene Taylor bass. Grady Tate on drums. So I'm expecting some nice things here. And let's say 1967 when Nat Hentoff did his review, so I'm going to assume that's when it was released. Possibly 78. I just can't see any other marks saying originally released or anything. It does say 1994 there, but yeah, I'll take it. Maybe 67, possibly 68, but depending when it was released around that time. So it's always nice to have another Blue Note. Looks in pretty good condition. There's just a little bit of wear there, but it's 1994, so you'd expect probably a little bit. I'm going into this blind. I've not pre-listened to this one. I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I haven't. Reputation, year, cast of awesomeness. Blue Note. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good value in there. Alrighty, next one. Now this is a brand new reissue. And again, I'm going in blind. I've only heard some things from this artist, but not a lot. And I thought, well, the price is freaking awesome. I'm going to give that a crack for a brand new piece of vinyl, and that is Swamp Dog. And the album was it Cuffed, Collared, and Tagged. It's also a coloured vinyl, not that I really care about that. Tangerine vinyl apparently there. And look at the price there, $8. It was like marked down. Look, there might well be a good reason for that. I have heard some of his stuff before, it's quite funky, but the only thing is, I did read that this is probably sort of less raw. I think he's maybe was at the time trying to go a bit more like of a commercial slant. But hey, I'm still willing to give that a crack for $8 going blind. Like that back cover, look at that. Okay, that's pretty fun. But yeah, I'm thinking, what's this? I don't know what year this is actually. I thought it was 70, but here it's actually saying it's going 2000 and oh, there we go. It's saying 2013 Cream Records on exclusive Fat Possum, but that's I'm guessing is the reissue year. I thought this was like early 70s, like 1972 or something. Don't hold me to that. I'm sure I'll do the research afterwards and have it flashing somewhere around here, the actual year. Okay, so yeah, don't hold me to that yet. But look, $8. I'm sure I'll get some value out of that. Hopefully a lot of value, you never know. Okay, next. Look, this one I've kind of been after. It's not been high on my want list, but it's just always been there for a number of years. It's lingering there on my lower priority list. I do have, I think, 3 or 4 other LPs by this act. I'll say band act maybe. But I'm pretty sure this will be the last one I get. It sort of plugs up a gap in the middle in the early 70s run of LPs I've got of theirs. And that is The Dramatics and Dramatically Yours. Well, but it's Ron Banks and The Dramatics, so that's the lead singer was getting a bit of separate billing there too. Look, I did pay a little bit for this one. There's a bit of cutout, not much. But it is saying it is sealed. That's why. Okay, even though it's got that little cut there. So this is an OG sealed. So I thought, look, for $15 US, OG sealed, it's I'm getting a new record from way back. I think it's about 74. I think it plugs up the gap in my other. I think I got one from 73 and 75. And we'll just have a look there. And yes. Oh, saying it twice, 74, 74. And Stax Records. So it's on the subsidiary Vault, which I love to see that lovely logo without the glare. So yeah, Stax record. Now, yeah, it's a vocal sort of R&B-ish sort of group as such. But look, I really like some of their other records. Really like, they do some great stuff. The Dramatics. So yeah, look, still, it's pre-75. Yeah, they got the nice sort of Philly style, almost suits on. Yes, they do some sweeter stuff. But hey, there's a time and place for it. And if it is, it might as well be on Vault Stax Records to still give it that nice edge. And yeah, I as I said, their reputation for me of their other LPs around that time are really cool. I really like. I dig. Quite funky and soulful. Yeah, sometimes I get a bit syrupy, but they usually keep a bit of funk in the trunk. I'm just trying to see, does it have any of the... No, it doesn't tell us who the musos are. So it'll just be a cast of whoever's still there. It Stax by 74, which, yeah, it was probably starting to wear thin by then. But anyway, Dramatics, still sealed. How good is that? Yes, I will be unsealing it. I'm not going to be precious. All right, moving right along. Now, this does have a link to the last one, particularly because of the Stax Vault Records earlier link from the band. As I was saying, by 74, band, people leaving Stax or it's starting to fold. These guys were on Vault. And then, yeah, moved to, I think it was Mercury around about 75. Maybe 76, and that's the Barcades, and this is a later one. So this is a non-essential. I'm going to be honest. This is not essential. This is me just going, look, this is probably the last in the run in terms of chronologically I will get. There is one more I sort of have on my radar. That's, I think, the year or two before this one. This is Night Cruising. It is an early 80s record. Now, I've mentioned this before, Barcades, I believe, are the ultimate chameleons, metamorphosizing, their style, but they just do it really well when they sort of change with the times and trends. I never think they're really forerunners in anything or the innovators, but when they do change, keep up with times, they tend to do it just really convincingly and well. So this will be interesting. I have not previewed this one. I just feel we're in for a bit of early 80s. Maybe, I don't know, there's going to be a bit of boogie, but at least a bit of sort of electro, maybe in there, electro funk. But you're right on the cusp there where it's 1981. So some bands were still keeping up the live thing, maybe bringing in just a bit more synthesizer or something. So Cameo comes to mind, around that time, maybe even Slave. But, most were just, and even the Gap Band, where they're starting to shift across and get a bit more 80s synthy sort of influence. So, I don't know if there's a drum machine on here, but I'm sure, everything's going to be very nicely compressed and sparkly and, tight. And, even with some of the titles were very early 70s, early 80s, like Freaky Behavior, that sort of thing. Traffic Jammer. Yeah. Even the Night Cruiser. So just, yeah, just got that sound, and even a little bit of the look of it, with some of the clothes. But yeah, it's still a Barclays though. As I said, I probably won't go after them. Oh, there might be one other one after. I might go for what's called propositions or something. I don't know. I'll see. But hey, not essential. I know that already. But it's cheap enough. Alrighty, next one now. Can you believe it? This next one is probably not the most known or popular by this artist, this very, very famous artist. And believe it or not, I do not have any of this artist's other LPs yet. I do have like a CD with a best of, but that's an earlier best of. I got lots of people doing cover versions that this person did first. Yeah. But this is my first from Aretha Franklin, and it is Let Me In Your Life. Let me in your life. Look at that soft thing. But I did preview this, and it's not bad. Price is right. Very good plus condition. $6 US. Yeah, not as well known as some of the other ones. It is still early 70s. It is still on Atlantic. It still will be produced by, what's his name? Erdogan. I guarantee you. Probably, I might be wrong. But it's not bad actually. What is it? Is it 74? Yeah, there it is, 74. So we're still pre-75. It is Aretha. Like, she's still gonna, have to be classy, And yeah, look, there are some softer, slower things on here, but they're actually quite decent. Yeah, I didn't mind it, so I went, okay, for that price, I need to get some Aretha in my life. So, yeah, still Atlantic, still Aretha. I'm letting her in my life, and I just wanted to see who we got playing. There's gonna be some awesome plays. Oh look, even Bob James turns up on the look, the whole lot of 70s people. Look at that. Spinoza, Diodato, geez, Richard T. Oh, there's RF doing the arrangements, Martin. Who was Aretha? Yeah, that's the other thing of this LP. I just remembered, yeah, like the electric piano. So there's some nice like Fender Rhodesy stuff on here, which I do think helps with the overall sound and vibe. Still being accessible now. Look at that. We've got Purdy on drums. We got Ralph McDonald there. He turns up on everything. Oh, look, Stan Clark on bass on the song. I didn't expect that. There he is again. Oh, look, Donny Hathaway's on piano on one part. Look, Joe Farrell, Chuck Rainey. I was going to say, where's Chuck Rainey? Because, it was always like, where's Bernard Purdy with Aretha? Where's Chuck Rainey? And I'm just trying to see who else. Yeah, look at that. So look, even with that lineup of awesome people. Oh look, Cornell Dupree on guitar. Look at that. That's cool. What are you gonna do? Willie Weeks on bass. There we go. Willie Weeks turns up on bass on the song. Yeah. So anyway, that alone too. Really great players. Usual sort of suspects. Aretha. Get some Aretha in your life. All right, next one is a LP. It's sort of been on my list for a while, but again, nothing too high up on the list. Just someone I tend to buy, And I've found out I've got actually now a fair bloody few records by this artist because, safe as houses really, that you're going to get quality. And that's Blakey. It doesn't say with Jazz Messengers. Ugetsu. I think it's like early mid 60s. I might be wrong. I'm going to guess about 63. This one's on Riverside. So he was the great label hopper. He he is on everything. So many different labels at the time. That's the thing. You always seem to have something going on, Mr. Blakey. And this one doesn't even tell me what year. Oh, there we go. Recorded live at Berlin, 1963. So it was either released 63 or sometime after, shortly. But again, if you look at that lineup, this is a great, well, it really is Jazz Messengers. It's not saying Jazz Messengers on the cover, but that's Jazz Messengers, well, one of the incarnations. But one of the incarnations of that, Freddie Hubbard, Curtis Fuller, Wayne Shorter, Cedar Walton, Reggie Workman, bam. And yeah, look, it doesn't have Lee Morgan, but it's got Freddie Hubbard. So, Wayne Shorter even, bam. So, like, how good. And it's recorded live at Boydland. So yeah, I really like that font too. That's really cool, kooky. I'm going to guess this is probably a later pressing or repressing. I don't really care. The reason I'm saying that's because I did see ABC somewhere, and I think that was a later acquisition. Oh yeah, there we go. But I might be wrong. I just got a feeling that's a later pressing. Judging from that font, I might be wrong, but I reckon late 60s, maybe 68. But anyway, Art Blakey and Jazz Messengers, okay, even though they're not mentioned Jazz Messengers, but anyway, look, it's going to be good value, whichever way. And that definitely really beefs up my Art Blakey LP collection, which is probably getting to the point of, yeah, you need to stop seeing all those stuff on my list. Alrighty, next up, this one. Again, great price. I know this is not this person's best LP. Well, this is, according to other people. It is later in his run. We are talking post 75 as well. So, but hey, this artist usually, gives you the goods, and this is $10 new. $10 US new, marked down from 22. This is Al Green. This is the Bell album. It is on, I think it definitely was on High Records at the time still. And it is a Fat Possum reissue. But still sealed and new. Basically, it's not even just like, they've got it from somewhere else. It's actually, they got it in new and marked it down. I'm going to say because it's probably one of his lesser known or respected one, whatever. And there again is that lovely Fat Possum, their slogan, which I don't know why. We're trying our best. We are. We're really trying our best. Well, okay. I'm sure you do. So anyway, I'm going to go 77, but it might be even 78. Does it say? So it's saying 2009. It's not telling us the original thing. The original year. So I'm sure I'll be flashing it up about now. Yeah, there you go. It's that year. All right. But anyway, this is, look, I think my sad in the back of my head recollection is telling me, I think this is his last secular album before he went all, religious and righteous and stuff and abandoned, the secular market or whatever. And, even though, has it got any signs of, I don't know, this one doesn't have any signs of, religious overtones in any of the titles. Not to say there won't be when it's in there, but hey, I'm sure he still takes it to church. It says, oh, is that a gatefold? I feel. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Gatefold. Nice. That'll be for another time. All right, cracking along. Next one I've had on my hit list for a while. Again, not too high up. But I got this one for a decent price. That's why I pulled the trigger. I've got lots of this guy's other work, mostly in the 70s, less in the 60s. I've got mostly some of the late 60s stuff, like this one. I think this is. And this is George Benson, but George Benson Quartet. It's Uptown. The most exciting new guitarist on the jazz scene. He's that excited. He's jumping around in his spot. On the scene today. So he's a very young George Benson there. Again, I'm not sure of the year of this one. I think it's like, I guess it's about 66 maybe. Maybe 67. I'm trying to have a look down there. Does it have a... No, just printed in. What's this? Oh, it's just cover photo. Yeah, I just cannot see unless it's right in front of my face, and I just can't see it through this. The year. Anyway, it's on Columbia, so it's not on the A&M CTI collaboration in the late 60s. So I'm gonna guess maybe this is then, yeah, earlier than those, so maybe about 66. But anyway, George Benson, look, he's doing some standards, so probably not as exhilarating there, mind-blowing. Yeah, look, summertime, ain't that peculiar, willow wheat for me, stormy weather, okay, yeah. So, the standards, but hey, didn't cost me a lot. Very good plus, 12 US. Yeah, it's aging a little bit. It looks nice and solid. I think, yeah. Yeah. More for the George Benson collection. Alrighty, next one up. Look, I'll be honest, I waited till this one got marked down. It's not high on my priority. I've got some of these two guys, other LPs, and I got one not long ago on the same label, around about the same time, which is why I got it mostly. But yeah, again, this is not essential stuff. It's a bit hit and miss, uppy downy now. And that is J&K's Betwixt and Between. So J.J. Johnson and Kai Winding, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, two trombonists, dueling it out in harmony there. Very good plus. Look, $7. I did wait till it came down from, I think it was like 10, so got it cheaper before I pulled the trigger. This is a US, I'm going to say, I think it's a US pressing, which is nice, even though it's got some tape down. They did say that, but I wasn't worried about that at all. I'm not that precious. I'm pretty sure it's a US pressing and also gatefold. So, in the style that A&M CTO were doing around that late 60s time. This one I think is about 67 or 68, I think. Not there. There we go. There's okay, there's some 68s and 69s. Okay. So yeah, it's a little bit off in the ballpark. Yeah, so, but the other thing is, look, we get some players there like Herbie Hancock, like Joe Beck, look at that, Ron Carter, Ayeto. Already you just go, oh, okay, that's pretty damn cool. That's interesting. Denny Saywell on drums. Now, Denny Saywell, I know he was like a studio session drummer, really tall white guy. He actually was in the first incarnation of Paul McCartney's Wings. Wouldn't have been that long after this. In the very early 70s, did the whole dodgy tools with him when he was starting from scratch with Linda and that, and Denny Lane. Did the first album, Wildlife, the first Wings album, that is, sorry. What's that around? Probably around 71 or so. So yeah, that's Denny Well, I know him from that. There's the original drummer from Wings. And then he quit and went back to America, from what I know. Anyway, how's that for a side story? I don't know if it deserves the title of Fun Facts, but, you know, there you go. Oh, look, Leo Morris. So, good old Idris Muhammad, before he was known as Idris Muhammad. Eric Gale, wow. Okay, so, there's Denny Saywell again. But yeah, look, some great players on there. It's just a bit interesting, this album, because I think they do these sort of, is this the one with the little interludes? Or is that the other one, anyway? Yeah, it's sort of poppy in places, jazzy poppy. But hey, it's an A&M early CTI for the collection. Alrighty, I'll keep going. Now, the next one, I'm glad I'm getting, because I don't have a lot of this guy's early stuff, early 60s stuff. I've got mostly his, basically, I think nearly all his 70s stuff through to 1980. And a few on CD. I think I got maybe one on LP from the 60s. But definitely I don't think I got any of his Blue Note on LP, I'm pretty sure, which is Stanley Tarantine. That's where it's at. I think I do have him with on an LP with his wife, Shelley Scott, a bit later in the 60s, but not as his billing here on Blue Note, in a classic Blue Note. Francis Wolff probably photographed cover. Near Mint Minus reissue. Yes, it's a reissue, $20 again, but so it's like basically brand new for 20. So I think is an 80s pressing though. So it's a little bit of an earlier reissue in terms of today. But this goes back, I think it's like maybe 1960 or 61, I think. Originally, does it have a year? Oh, there you go, recorded 62. January 62, so I was very, very close there. I'll give myself that. It is a DMM pressing, so yeah, it'll be an 80s. No guarantee. Mid 80s, maybe late. 1986, there we go. DMM. Yeah, I don't mind a DMM. I don't care what the audiophile purists say. DMM is good for me. And I'm going to guess that it probably is from the original historical master tape. So for me, I mean, if they're taking a stamp or whatever, or master or whatever, skipping the middle stampers and that, and directly doing it from the master tape, to me it just means less fidelity degradation or whatever, or sound quality degradation. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And I've had some of these DMMs, 80s DMMs before, and they're fine by me. So for $20, it's still really, was it near Mint Minus from mid 80s? That's really good. All right, cracking on. Here we go. So we've got, this links to that one. I didn't realize. How's that for bit of a quinky dink there? So it's talking about Stanley Tarantine and his wife Shelley Scott, and this is a Shelley Scott. Just crack right into that. This is, whoa, thanks Shelley. On a clear day, Shelley Scott. Loving the cover here from Impulse. I believe this is a mid-60s, I think. I've got a few Shelley Scotts. I really enjoy particularly her early 70s LPs. They're a little bit more sort of funky. This one might be obviously funky as such. It might be sort of jazzy, like funky, but good thing is here, this is an impulse. Well, she has an impulse to keep falling down. I was going to say impulse gatefold. That's impressive. That's what you want. And that looks like Mr. Ron Carter if I ever saw. That is Jimmy Cobb. So, yeah. So, look, trio on a clear day. She'll be on organ. And, oh, look, there's Ron there. The world's most recorded bass player. Now, I'd gone into this one raw. I didn't preview this. I just went on reputation and, the fact it's impulse. It was 17 US, very good plus. I'm happy with that for her original impulse. The only thing is here, there is a bullet hole there through, you bastards. But look at that, nice thick. The cardboard is like thick as, man. Oh, sneaky cheeky there. Oh, there you go, 66. And there you go. So yeah, mid-60s impulse, 7 impulse. Nice to be able to see then that that kind of label sticking out of my record cabinet, the iconic impulse colours there. That's cool. All right, cracking along now. All right, well, this is interesting. So I technically have this LP. Technically, I got it not long ago, but there's a story and a half in there. I got a different version of this, and it's actually, I just got it as a collectible because it's actually got a bit of a major side warp. But that's for another story. So I've got the actual version now. The other one doesn't have the artwork and stuff. It's like a kind of promotional kind of copy. But I have been after this a while, again, mostly because for the collection, mostly for the label collection, and also because I'm sure there's going to be some decent stuff, even though it is post-75. That is Jeremy Steig, Firefly on CTI with the train graph cover, which is pretty cool, actually, for mid to late 70s, I think. Yeah, look, I know this is not really strongest stuff. It's his only one he did for CTI. I think under his name. I'm pretty sure he played in some other people's stuff, but yeah, this is the only one he did on CTI. I think it's about 76, 77. Might even be later. What does it say there? Does it say? No. I'll have to get to the bottom of this one. But anyway, I don't think this is... Oh, wait, is it? Oh, it is gatefold. Tasty. I did not know. This was gatefold. That was not set up. But anyway, so we're talking about later CTI when a lot of the other guys had left. And there we go. Yes, 77. So yeah, it is post 75. Yeah, look, Dave Matthews has got his finger in this one, and sometimes he gets a bit twee. So I'm expecting a bit of that, to be honest. But we do have Steve Gadd, Gary King, even John Schofield. So look, you got some really good players there. Oh look, Eric Gale as well. Richard T turns up. John Faddis on trumpet. He's on so much studio stuff at the time. It's always solid. Yeah, really glad to finally have this. But I'll be honest, I really didn't know it was gatefold. The other copy I've got is not, and it's white, and it's just got like a printed sheet thing. It was like a special, pre-copy or whatever, or test copy or something. So hopefully this one's got no warps, because I didn't really get to, I can't really play the other one. It's munted at the moment. So yeah, how good is that? Another CTI down, another Jeremy Steig down. Yeah, and I do like the cool. Oh, look, if I open that up, got to do it. Hey, got to do it. You got to get this. Oh, it's just mirrored. I didn't know. Oh, is it mirrored? No, it's not mirrored. My bad. Just the photo in the middle there's mirrored, so you get the whole panel. Yeah, that's cool. I like. That's even more impressive. I'm even more happy I got it. I like a nice gatefold. All right, we're still cracking on. We're getting down to the final, maybe 3, I think. Now, the next one, something I've put off for a long time, 2 LPs to get from this band. Again, not totally essential, but hopefully there'll be some good stuff on here. For very early 70s, maybe even 71. And that is 100 Proof Asian Soul. Someone's been sleeping in my bed. It is on Hot Wax, which I don't know was also related to a subsidiary of Invictus, but I might be wrong. It's distributed by Buddha Records, but lots of stuff was. At the time, Curtin, I think, was distributed by Buddha and a few others. So, yeah. The only thing is I'll say is I've heard some Hot Wax stuff before, and the sound quality was not very good. I'm hoping that was just like a one-off, but that always stuck with me that I think I've got this sampler thing, and the sound was just crudulistic. So I believe that General Johnson from chairman of the board had something to do with this record, and Ron Dunbar, who worked with George Clinton and Funkadelic Parliament as well. There he is. Ron Dunbar wrote some songs, but it doesn't list the artists, the players, which is really disappointing. My understanding, though, is Ron Bykowski, was it the Token White Devil, who played briefly with Funkadelic on some of their best Westbound Year stuff. Originally played in this band before then working with Funkadelic for a few years, then leaving due to a girlfriend or something he was pursuing, something like that. But anyway, it's just a shame the players are not listed to confirm that, and also to see who else. So yeah, interesting things you see there. Promo, one of the old school ones with the promo sticker on the front. At least I can see most of the cover though. That's good. You know, yes, it's nice to have a promo, but I like to see the cover. So that'll be interesting, sort of, R&B soul, possibly even a little bit rocky in there, a little bit heavy rock, I hope, from the early 70s, very much so, on Hot Wax. Alrighty. Now, next one is a new reissue. But again, I actually had this on my watch list, and the price came down, which during the time I was watching it. So I thought, yep, that's the time to get it. This is from 1976. This is from a saxophonist who I've seen play on maybe a couple other people's stuff, not a lot. So I don't know a lot about him. But his name is Azar Lawrence. And this is, well, it's record moving, but the LP is called People Moving. First LP reissue. Jazz Funk, nice, 1976. Patrice Rushen and Harvey Mason and Ndumi. So again, some other known players on Prestige. Look at his post 75 Prestige. Love my prestige stuff from late 60s, early 70s. So I'm expecting this to be a little bit more slicker, tighter in production. But it should be still very nice. Okay, we got 7 tracks. Anybody else in there we might know? Oh, Lee Ritenour, Paul Jackson on electric bass. He did lots of studio work around the time. Yeah. So again, we've got some very much usual suspects from around the time. 1976. Should be interesting. I don't know how many albums Azar did in terms of solo with his name on the marquee there, but definitely seen him on other people's stuff. Not sure what this is going to be like. Maybe it'll be a bit like, I know, Donald Byrd's Mizell era stuff. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it'll be a bit like Lonnie Smith, Cosmic Echo stuff. Not sure. We'll find out. Sure, it is Fantastico. And lastly, this has been on my hit list for a while too. Again, not really high, but there. And again, this got marked down. What's to get marked down? So I went, yep, now is the time. It's brand new reissue. And that is George Duke, Faces in... Oh, gosh, I'm not having luck with that tonight. Faces in Reflection. I think it's about 1974. So it's not too late for George Duke before he, goes a bit mainstream. There we go, 180G pressing. Liner notes, awesome. And a picture of the original master tape box inside. Wow. That makes it official. See here, though, the original price, I reckon it's about half price. List 30. I think they had it for like 25 or 6 or something anyway. I can't even remember, but it came down. It'd been sitting there a while, so patience and gambling paid off there to get a nice reissued copy. It was originally on MPS, which I believe is that German label that George Duke did a few early LPs on. His more experimental, jazzy funk stuff, less commercial. All right, now let's see if we can find a year. Yep, there it is, 74. And there is Ndugu on drums, who turns up on lots of things. Is it only a 3-piece, maybe? John Hurd on bass. Not sure about John Hurd. But yeah, so I think this should be really good. 74 should have some nice 70s analog synth on there, hopefully. Because it just says keyboards, which I mean, around that time will be synths. So expecting some sort of funky, jazzy stuff here, and not too commercial or anything. That would come later in George Duke's career in the later 70s. And have a look at this. That's got, I've got a few of these MPS reissues, the AAA series, already. So that'll be good. And yes, this one's even repressed in Germany as well and remade there. So that should sound really, really good. So yeah, that's a bit of George Duke, a lot of LPs, and that's a big excursion, that one. So thanks for bearing with me. Hope you enjoyed that journey, and I'll catch you again.